Good morning. I had a really interesting situation a week ago where I present all the time, so I'm fairly comfortable presenting. And I did an online webinar, and as I was doing the webinar, I realized I'm not as prepared as I need to be, and I'm feeling a little bit nervous about that. And so I was doing things out of character. Now, this was a presentation that was really important to me. So afterwards, some people that were close to me that were on the webinar, I went to them specifically and said, hey, I want you to be really critical of me. Point out all the things that I did wrong because that was awful and I want to learn from it. I want to get better at this. And it was fascinating to hear their responses. They gave me lots of compliments. Oh, you did this well. Oh, you did that well. Listen, I don't lack confidence. I know what I'm doing well. That's not what I need to hear. What I need to hear is criticism. And what I want to ask you this morning is, how do you handle criticism? If you can learn to handle criticism extremely well, if you can take it in and learn and grow from it rather than being offended or hurt by it and lashing out at people, instead of reacting to it, you respond and work with it, you've just done something amazing for yourself, for your organization, for business, for communication, for growth I'm trying to think of other words, but there's so many ways that this improves your life. This is a soft skill, responding to criticism. There's a quote that I heard not too long ago, and I'd heard it before. It was a Mike Tyson quote, and while I'm not a huge Mike Tyson lover, the quote is fantastic. He said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Does criticism throw you off? Does it feel like a punch in the mouth where all of your plans go out the window and you're throwing so much off your game that you're not able to move forward anymore? If that's the case, you need to work on your ability to handle criticism. And this is what I would ask you to do. What I'd ask you to do is, and there are a number of steps here. I'm not gonna be able to share all of them in a short video here. Contact me if you want more on this. But the way to handle criticism, the first step is to become more self-aware, understand yourself. And I've talked about this a few days ago. Understand yourself. When you understand yourself extremely well and you know what's happening in the moment, through the meditation techniques that I've talked about and other things, when you know yourself and you're aware of what's happening in the moment, then you can tell when you're at a 1, 2, 3, 4 rather than when you're at a 7, 8, 9, 10 on the scale of losing it, if 10 is losing it completely and reacting rather than responding. Okay, so the first step is know yourself. Secondly, once we know ourselves, we start to pay attention to others and realize, wait a second, when people are saying things, when they're reacting, it really has nothing to do with us. It has to do with them. They might have just come from a really frustrating situation at home. They might have just had a talk where one of their parents is dying, or somebody else in their family has a physical ailment, or whatever it is. And if they're dealing with that, of course, or maybe they just slept poorly. Maybe they ate some spicy food and they've got indigestion. I don't know. And you don't know. The thing is that we don't know what's happening for people, but when they are reacting, this is a very important point. When other people are reacting to you, they're not reacting to you. They're reacting to something in their own lives. I'll give you a really quick example. I used the word ridiculous to my dad when I was like 14, 15, 16. I remember calling one of his ideas, that's a ridiculous idea, Dad. And he had this massive reaction to it. I won't go into all the details. He had a massive reaction to it. And I was really curious. I was like, I don't think I did anything really wrong. Well, about 3 or 4 years later, we were driving the vehicle. I remember this. We were driving to a basketball tournament my brother was playing at. And he talked about his childhood a little bit, and he used the word ridiculous. He said, if my dad ever wanted to really hurt me and really just say that my ideas are garbage, he would use the word ridiculous. All of a sudden it fell into place. That conversation that I had 3, 4 years previous had nothing to do with me or my word using ridiculous. It had to do with his reaction to emotional things that have happened in the past. So first of all, know yourself. Secondly, be aware that other people are reacting to themselves. It doesn't have anything to do with you. And when we are able to do that, we can start having compassion for people. And then it takes the focus off of us. Now when somebody says, hey, you did that poorly, you can go, is this person reacting to something in their own lives? What's happening inside of me? Okay, you can analyze it rather than simply getting carried away with it. There's a third step. It's a very important step as well. Once you've practiced the first 2 steps, the third step is you need to become very comfortable with failure and understand that failure is the key to success. Understanding how to deal with your failure is the key to success. Now, you don't have to always mess around with your own failure. It can be someone else's failure, but our own failure is the best teacher for us, generally speaking. It's the lesson that sticks with us the longest. What I want you to do is create some affirmations in your life, repeat some things, start working on your belief system, your paradigms, so that you can start believing that criticism is a healthy thing. I still, to this day, I don't love it when somebody just says, hey, these are all the things you did wrong. It's not something that's enjoyable necessarily to me, but I will relentlessly pursue criticism because, and I will appreciate it and be grateful for it because it teaches me how I can improve. Here's what I've come to realize, that out of the criticism, it takes a lot for somebody to criticize me, unless they're just in a bad mood. If somebody respects me, it takes a lot for them to criticize me. It's a hard thing to criticize somebody else that we care about. So I most of the time when somebody that I care about gives me criticism, I listen to it with rapt attention because it's hard for them to do. Now, some of the time, they're reacting to something, and that's okay. So I can throw out some of the criticism, but I always analyze it and ask, what is the truth in this? So here's the question. When somebody criticizes you, ask yourself, what is the truth in this? And whatever truth is in there, you take that and learn and grow from that. You don't have to take on everything, but learn and grow from that. As you grow in this, you won't have to react, which means that the next time you get punched in the mouth or criticized, for the example here, next time you get criticized, you don't have to lose it and start reacting and fall off your game plan. You can simply go on and continue to improve. Relentlessly pursue greatness and mastery of your profession, of your field, of growth, personal and business. And this is one of the keys, mastering criticism and even asking for it and enjoying it and appreciating it, okay? Even if it's not comfortable. Have a great day.